Hey guys, my name is Uwais and welcome to BlueFx. Today we're going to be teaching you how to use Wondershare's Filmora, the free version, as well as how to create this free intro completely for free in under 10 minutes. So not only does this intro look really cool, professional and sleek, it's actually 100% free to download right now in the description below. You'll download all the files completely for free from bluefx.net, which is our website, which we have tons of other templates on as well. And then we're going to jump into Filmora. I'm going to teach you how to use the program as well as how to create your first ever project in the form of this free intro. So let's get into it. As you can see, as I've launched Filmora over here, we have a ton of different tools available to us. Now, this can look a bit sort of intimidating at first, but all you need to do is bear with me here. So let's go over the various panels, shall we? Over here on the right, we have our viewer panel, which basically just plays back what we are watching in the timeline. Speaking of the timeline, we have that down here, and this is where we drag media and effects to create our video. So we drag clips sequentially or on top of one another, which I'll show you just now, and that creates our video. Then over here we have our media panel, and what that'll do is store, almost like a little container or a little container bucket, store all of our videos, music files and special effects that we want to add into our timeline during the course of making our video. Up here we have a few more tabs that we're going to be using as we go along, called the effects, transitions, titles, audio. Those are all, they do what they say essentially. So without further ado, I like to teach by actually doing. So let's jump into it immediately. So if you hit the link down below, you'll be taken to bluefx.net and you can download our free ribbon template for the intro, and we can actually use that to begin editing. So once you download that, you'll find these files over here. So you have a background image, you have a lens flare, and then you have 3 different colors that you can choose from of what you want your logo to look like. And then obviously you need your own logo file as well. So for now, let's say I'm going to go with blue because it's BlueFx. I'm going to select that one as well as the lens and the background. I'm then going to click, hold and drag and hover over my Filmora software, and then head to the the media panel, and then drop it. And now what it's going to do is automatically import all 3 of these files into Filmora. So to begin editing, what Filmora does is, which is actually really cool that it's free as well, is it has a multi-layer timeline, which means that if you look down here, you can drag a video file over here under the video logo and an audio file here. But that means you can also stack them. So if I have one video here, I can have another video on top and another video on top, or another audio at the bottom, and they will all play at the same time. So you don't have to have one clip and the next clip and the next clip. You can have this clip and multiple other clips playing at the same time, and that's where this intro comes into play. So first of all, let's drag our base layer, which is the background. The way we add things to the timeline, we can click this plus icon over here and it'll add it to the timeline, and then I'm going to click Ctrl Z to undo that, or we can click it in our media panel and we can drag it down into the timeline, into the video column, and we can let go. Now I'm going really fast here because I want you guys to get the most information in the shortest amount of time possible. So if you do get stuck or you need a bit more help, drop a comment down below. We'll be more than welcome to help you. Or you can also replay the video multiple times and see what you need more help with, and then let us know. So now that we have our background here, we can actually go to the end until this arrow appears and we can drag it along, which essentially will increase it in time. So now we can see we're around here by the 15-second mark. We can increase it to there, and now our background picture is 15 seconds long. Now that doesn't really do much for us because it's just a white background, as you can see. Let me just resize this. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is go over here into our media panel and we're going to drag this blue and white banner effect over our timeline. We're then going to click Keep Project Settings, and once we have it in our timeline, we can see what's happening. It's playing a little bit and it's zooming along in front of us. But the problem here we have right now is that it's just doing that and there's nothing else happening. So what we need to do is actually import our logo. I'm going to drag it in the same way we imported our other things, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to drag this video of our blue ribbon up one layer, because remember I talked about stacking video. This is essentially how it's working. We're then going to drag our logo right down below that layer. Now obviously it's a bit too big right now, so what we're going to do is select it and we're going to scale it down. So we can then select that layer once again, make sure it's selected in the timeline, and then we can select it in the timeline and then scale it down a bit, and then we can obviously move it into the middle. And essentially what we want to do is make sure that at this particular point over here, our logo is covered completely. So then what we're going to do is we're going to move frame by frame in the timeline until that little wrapping ribbon is covering our screen completely. And the way we move frame by frame is by using these arrow keys over here. So right here, it's completely covering our logo. So what we want to do is actually have our logo begin at that point. So what we're going to do is go over here on the timeline, find our logo, and then we're going to click the snip button at that point. Then it separates our logo into two separate files, almost like I cut it down the middle. We can then click on that first file and just hit delete on your keyboard. And then what we can do is obviously move our logo, since for some reason the software shifted it. So let's move back to over this point over here, and let's make sure our logo starts at that point. So what this essentially does is, if I play through this entire clip, you can see what it's doing is it has the ribbon on screen, and the minute the ribbon takes up the screen, when it reveals itself, the logo is there, and that's because of that stacking of the timeline. So the final thing we want to do is just add a lens flare on top of all of this, and this file is provided as well. So let's drag that into the timeline right above everything. And you may be wondering, why is the screen suddenly black? Well, that's because this lens flare has a black background, and the way to get rid of black backgrounds in Filmora is to right click them, and we're going to go on to show properties. We're going to go into compositing, and we're going to then click on the blending mode, and we're going to change it to screen, and boom, automatically that background has disappeared. This is because using blending modes within a beginner software like this, it allows you to take away a certain color by only showing the brightest parts of it. So the lens flare, which is very bright, on the black background, it removes the black. So let's play through that video right there, and as we can see, we have the lens flare on. We have everything timed up beautifully, and that's essentially how we edit. That's how you cut, that's how you composite multiple clips, and all we need to do now is export. And the way to do that is very simple. All we're going to do is we're going to go over to File, we're going to go over here down to Save Project, and we're going to make sure our project is saved nicely. And then we're going to go over to the Export tab, create the video, export it just like that, and it's completely simple and free to do within Filmora using BlueFx.net. If you enjoyed this video, guys, please leave a like down below, as well as subscribe to our channel for much more content. And yeah, until the next time, remember to check out our store down below. We have tons of free templates, intros, and videos for you guys to download. And until next time, have a good day.